Today we're going to show you something extremely unique, something that probably none of you have seen in your entire life, tied to spy technology, going back to the very early beginnings of it, such as the shoe phone from Mel Brooks's Get Smart TV series, or James Bond's laser watch, or even like the Lotus submarine car from, I think, Live and Let Die. Those are all reminiscent of the item that I'm going to show you, which was a top secret item back in the day. Hey, it's Don. Today we are going to show you something reminiscent of a James Bond movie or a Get Smart Mel Brooks TV series. Something that's literally a hidden secret that you may have walked right by or even held in your hand and never had a clue what you even had. Now, what we're going to show you is something I've physically handed to people before and they couldn't figure out or hadn't a clue what I was giving them other than what it literally looked like.
If your man lives for excitement, give him 007. There's a 007 gift set for every assignment. This one packs the full line, including 007 aftershave, hairdressing, and cologne. That's 007 for the license to kill women.
When you use 007, be kind.
So here's a typical lot of military buttons from World War I. Most people who look at these don't think a thing about these whatsoever. They just look like any other button. No matter how you hold them, it just looks like another button. There's no big variance. The backs can be shiny, dull. They can be painted. They can be this reddish color from the copper in the buttons. These are early buttons. These date to like 1916 or so. But there is one very unique one, which is right here. It looks just like any other one other than maybe the color. And again, the color means nothing. You'll find them just like this that aren't what I'm going to show you today. Now, this is a very scarce one, and it's made by Liberty Manufacturing Company, Los Angeles. It's got a patent date and the whole works on it. But what's extremely interesting about this button is that it actually, again, even though I know it's there, I don't want to mess it up. So let's make sure I'm lining it up right. I don't want to do any damage to it. It opens up, and what you have is a locket. And inside the locket, you'll see a very lovely woman, and obviously her soldier, husband, boyfriend, whatever the case may be, loved one or loved relative inside. Maybe there's two relatives that are, they're taking with them. This was not given out by the U.S. government. This wasn't authorized. I don't even know if the U.S. government at any point when these are being used, sold, knew they even existed, to be honest with you. It's not authorized. There's no, code that says you can use, wear, or have this on your uniform. So again, this is the button locket right here, and this is a uniform. This one I pulled out of my personal collection. This is from World War I. It's a U.S. Army uniform, and this button is literally designed to cover up and be put on a uniform just like this. Same color scheme, same basic design, and the whole works. Technically, it's the same exact size, but since there was no technical thought that you could make something like this, there was no, I think, official statement in the official uniform guide that said you couldn't do this. It never said you could, though. So officially, this would not have been allowed to be worn. If the front got knocked off, you'd have to lose the button because it would be shiny and bright. It was not made by the U.S. government. It's not technically a spy item, but buttons like this were designed by the U.S. government for like cyanide pills and things like that. They would be hidden inside the button. There are other things hidden in buttons. Some are official, some are not. Either way, it's spy tech. There was spy buttons pretty much just like this, whether they unscrewed or snapped up. They do exist. Not going to run into those, but this is the next best thing you could ever find from like a real James Bond style of item. Here's just a quick shot from eBay so you can see they do show up, but they are very rare to show. These on average will get you $125 to even 175, 200 if it's tied to a specific soldier or something along that line, or you have some documentation or there's photo or identification on the inside of it like this one here. Now there are some buttons very similar to this that have a compass inside. Now I know people have said, well, those aren't real, the government wouldn't have made something like that. Well, again, this wasn't made by the government, and neither is the compass one. Here's a photo of one of them right here, just to give you an idea. Hamilton is the company that I've seen, the one or two in my life. Now, I have seen an ad to buy this. I've even had one and sold the ad itself years back. Having the photos and the whole works in it, the original ones, are usually a plus to me. Finding it on a uniform is like probably one of the coolest because it probably is loved ones of the person who wore the uniform. Many people will miss these. There are buttons similar to this that were used by, Secret Service and OSS and things like that, that might have had like a cyanide capsule in it for spies, might have had something along that going with it. And that's, again, a reason why this is spy tech, because they did create things like that for that very reason. You needed to be able to sneak something in. They're going to search your pockets and everything else, and you've got to be able to hide it. You couldn't take photos with you in many cases because it might be some form of identification. I've shown this to people on numerous occasions in person. Again, I've had a few of these. This is one I'm going to keep because of the images and the whole works. And I've handed people handfuls of the buttons and asked them which one's the unique one, what's going on with these. And I've also handed out and told people that there's something very unique about this, and they still missed it. So this is probably one of the biggest missed items in this whole genre of things like that. You're going to miss it if you didn't know it existed. Most people out here probably watching this have never ever seen this at all. It's just one of those unique, rare, scarce items. Now, if you're in England, the RAF had a compass button for pilots. RAF, Royal Air Force. And it actually unscrewed, the face of it unscrewed, and there was a little tiny compass that would slide out, and you would be able to use that. There are also 4 hole buttons, like from a trouser or pant buttons, military trousers or something, and it was a compass. It had a little metallic magnetic piece in it. It had a little post you could balance it on and the whole works, and it would tell you which way was north. Now, I can tell you as well, I found one of these buttons actually on a uniform a few years ago. It was matched, it had names, it had photos, the whole works tied to the uniform. There's information inside the button as well as on the uniform to tie them together. And just like in this case, I had his dog tags, just like I have the dog tags for the soldier who actually originally had this one, his name's on the inside and the whole works. Even folks who are into buttons, but maybe not necessarily military buttons, may not know about these. Even folks that are into buttons themselves, even military buttons, may not know about these. So there's a million reasons why you could miss them. If you're in England or in Europe, you could run into the RAF versions of these, which had the screw-open compasses and things like that as well. And in the case of the one I found, the person who sold me the uniform was a military collector and dealer, and they didn't know about the button. So it is very possible to still find one of these out there stuck on the uniform that it was originally made. Now, some of these were made during World War II from what I have personally seen. Now, they're basically the same thing, same basic markings. The button looks a little different. It doesn't have any black on the facing of it either. Maybe it was retooled. Maybe somebody bought the dies. Maybe the same company was around and redid it again for World War II. Definitely would not have been allowed on a uniform in that point or time, just like technically the compasses probably would have violated some U.S. military regulation as well. So anyway, that's what I have for you today. Hopefully that gave you some ideas, some thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button down below. You can also hit the bell icon to be notified if I post new content or go live. Subscribe and tell all your friends.
Out on my first assignment for them. Checked my spy attaché case. Burglar alarm off. Telescope set. Code sender ready. Coding machine okay. Signal flasher on. Passport, spy money. Built-in camera loaded. Microphone ready. Testing 1, 2, 3. He's coming through. Loud and clear. He's coming. Agent to the headquarters. He's coming. Hurry. Well done, Agent 2. Thanks.
Get your super spy attaché case now. Only Sears has it.